Well, it's been a couple of days to reflect and to think back about his NFL, even his college career for me. I think a lot of people want to analyze what's going to happen going forward, this and that. To me, when you retire, it's a chance to look back and reflect and for his family, his friends. I know for him personally, I never once heard Eli talk about winning a Super Bowl, unless he was just prompted over and over again. He would talk about it, but after that, he was living in the present. He was not living in the past. Well, now when you retire, you can look back. I know that's what I've been doing these past couple of days, is looking back, and I've felt really lucky to have been kind of on this journey with him. I can remember his private workout for the Giants in the NFL. It was down in New Orleans, and this other quarterback kind of piggybacked Eli's workout in order to have more scouts looking at him. And literally, Eli's making his last throw, and the other guy's already out there starting his workout. And it was the kind of thing that would have driven me crazy. But Eli, classic Eli, didn't bother him one bit. He's like, what's the big deal? I got my work. I mean, and it was just a great indicator of how calm, cool, and collected he was, and how that helped him handle being the first pick of the draft by the New York Football Giants, and handling all that comes with that. I can remember the draft back in 2004. I was there. You talk about some nervous moments for me as his brother, my parents. The Chargers take him. What are the Giants going to do? Eli just as calm and as cool and in control, just like he was in those 2-minute drills to beat the Patriots in Super Bowl. So to me, as his brother, I got to witness a lot of things early that told me he was going to be able to handle New York. And it certainly wasn't easy at the beginning. There was some rough patches there, but he handled it. And Eli never got too high, never got too low, told me he never watched the news or read the papers, which those things can affect a guy, high or low. Eli stayed pretty even keeled. We played that team. We played that Patriots team. We were both undefeated. They beat us with our first loss. They were the real deal. They had it all. And you talk about, playing against this monster. You got Tom Brady, you got Bill Belichick. It's a two-headed monster. They had all these other great players as supporting cast, and he was so in control the whole game. And then, the famous escape play, which, the word unbelievable is overused, but it truly was unbelievable how he got out of there. I mean, Mike Vrabel texted me earlier today wanting Eli's number to congratulate him on his career, and I thought about, he was right there. He had a chance to sort of change history. He had his hands on him. I think everybody thought he's down, and he gets out of there. And I kind of kid David Tyree when I see him. I mean, Tyree simply chose to catch it with his helmet. I mean, he really didn't have to. He could have caught it with two hands and whatnot, but he's like, I think it'll be cool if I use my helmet just to give it a little more coolness, if you will, and plus you get it tagged the helmet catch. That's how it's a really cool play if you get a play labeled. But it's this unbelievable play, and nobody can believe it. But the play is all for naught if Eli doesn't complete the touchdown pass to Burris a few plays later. I mean, everybody else was hyperventilating because he got out of this mosh pit and got the ball down there, but he, once again, calm, cool, collected, goes down. All right, now we got to figure out what to do in the red zone. Patriots like to blitz. They make this great call and hits Plaxico for the winner, and now everybody goes back to the play, but Eli finished the job. He followed through, and the fact they were even in that game was amazing. That Green Bay game when Tom Coughlin's face is freezing off, and you got Favre and you got the Packers and that mystique, and I never won in Lambeau Field. To me, I thought it was an intimidating place to play. I thought you could feel Lombardi, you could feel Nitschke, and it was a tough place to play. So to go in there and win in an NFC championship up there in those conditions, that game might have been even more impressive than the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, you have a chance to go through it again. I was at the game in San Francisco for the NFC championship. You talk about hard to watch your brother get basically pulverized by this 49ers front. This is back before they were calling the drive rule. The Smith brothers, Alden and Justin, were just taking turns. Hey, I'm bored of hitting them. You go hit them this time. He kept getting up, throws a couple of clutch touchdowns. They win the game, and now they got to play the Patriots again. Everybody says, well, there's no way they can do it again. Last time it was a luck deal, and he goes and simply does it again in the same fashion. And there's this famous quote of Bill Belichick saying, we got to take this guy away, make Manningham beat us. And Eli made Manningham beat him, hits him down the sideline, and they go and do it again. So he was even more clutch and even more calm in the biggest of games. And I keep going back just to kind of how he started off his career with that private workout in the draft. It just served him well in the 2-minute drills. He knew he'd been there before. I mean, he'd be in a week 6 2-minute drill, and he could say, I've done this in a Super Bowl. How hard is this going to be? And his teammates believed in him, and that really served him well as a leader. His toughness. I can remember he had a foot injury and a shoulder injury that he never talked about. He didn't tell anybody about, but I could tell it was bad, and most guys aren't playing, and he simply goes out there and just plays. He doesn't talk about it before. He doesn't talk about it after. A lot of guys now like to talk about their injuries beforehand. I mean, we got guys tweeting MRIs and x-rays, and what they're doing is really covering themselves. If I play well, the media goes, oh, how did he play so well? He had a bad ankle. If you don't play well, oh, you had the bad ankle. Eli never talked about it ever. And you don't have to talk about how tough you are. You just show people how tough you are. And he did that. And starting 200-plus consecutive games, answering the bell for his teammates, that's what toughness is. And so as his brother, I have such, admiration and love for him, but as a quarterback, I have incredible respect for his toughness, his accountability, his leadership skills. He wasn't going to embarrass a teammate on the field. He wasn't going to throw a helmet, point a finger. He was going to do those conversations off to the side. And I think there's a real misconception that, Eli kind of laid back, calm and cool. Not laid back when it comes to competing and preparing and going about his craft. I mean, the intensity he used to put into his workouts. We'd work out together in the off season. I mean, it's intense, his game planning. And so that to me was never an accurate, description of how intense he really was. But I'll miss our game plan talks, talking about playing common opponents. Eli, we're playing the Cowboys. Tell me what y'all did on third down. Hey, Peyton, we're playing the Titans. What do you like versus their blitzes? I'll miss the bus ride conversations after games. We'd be on the phone. We could talk about what happened in each of our games, and both of us could visualize it in our minds. Hey, they were playing too deep. I hit Shockey down the seam. They were doubling Marvin. I hit Reggie Wayne on a post. And we didn't have to have a video or a chalkboard to visualize it. We could see it in our minds, and I miss those conversations. And so I'm happy for Eli because I know he's at peace, and he put a lot of time and thought into this decision. But I am sad because I won't get to see him play anymore. And after my dad and Dan Marino, Eli really was my favorite player, and so I have to find a new one. But for really 19 years, going back to his 3 years at Ole Miss, 16 years in the NFL, I have enjoyed watching him play, watching him compete, watching him grow into a man, and it's been a heck of a run. I always try to be there as a resource if kind of the rule, kind of like my dad had with us growing up, hey, if y'all want my help, y'all got to come to me and ask. But my dad was never going to push us, but we liked having his help. We went to him and asked, and I tried to be kind of that same role for Eli. Hey, Eli, if you got a question about a blitz package or a man-to-man, type concept, come to me. But he had a lot of coaches and he had a lot of people, in his ear. I didn't want to add to it, but I felt like he did come to me, from time to time, not every day calling me going, help me, but he would say, hey, what do you think on this? And I can remember in that rough patch, they had a game against the Vikings that I was there. I went to the game on our bye week, and they had a tough day. The Giants did, so the Vikings won. So when I said, okay, maybe I shouldn't be coming to NFL games because maybe I'm a jinx. I had a good record when he played in high school and college. I saw him beat Alabama, beat LSU. I said, maybe this NFL is changing. So he gets to the Super Bowl, and I say, Eli, I can't come to the game. That Vikings game, he's like, Peyton, just, I hate to burst your bubble, but it wasn't, you don't have that much power to impact a game. That wasn't your fault that we didn't beat the Vikings. I want you to come to the Super Bowl. And I was like, okay, I'm relieved now. I can go. So I knew he would handle it. Look, everybody wants to come in right away and have this immediate success and turn things right around. When you're the first pick of an NFL draft, as I've said before, you're going to a team that has earned the first pick in the NFL draft. So it wasn't going to be all rosy early on, but I think his toughness, just his accountability, getting up from every hit, staying in there, his teammates see that, they feed off of that, they know they can believe in this guy. And I really think some of those early losses kind of set the foundation for what they were able to do just a few years later in winning the championship. He's the silent assassin. I mean, you really got to watch him, and it's just it's a release from that intense game planning and the film study. Every now and then, okay, the hay's in the barn, I've watched all the film, let's go laugh and let's be a part of the locker room and the bus rides. And I think that's what I miss the most, is kind of that camaraderie with your teammates, the wins and the celebrations, but also the jokes and the pranks. And so the best one Eli got me on was we were on a golf trip one time and we were staying in the same room, and my bed was kind of up against the corner and I was taking a nap, and he jumps on top of me and gives me almost an atomic wedgie. And he had all the leverage. My shoulders were stuck in the corner. I couldn't get out, and I just had to take it. So I haven't been able to get him back. Maybe if we get a chance to play some more golf together, maybe I'll have a chance to get him back. But right now, he's still one up on me. He handled himself the right way on the field, off the field, in New York, in that market. Never skipped an interview, did not show up at the podium after a game, especially after a loss. Nowadays we got guys that are there early after a win. When they lose, they don't talk to the media. Eli answered the bell on that end every single Sunday, Monday night, Sunday night. And then off the field, he was doing the right things in the community there in the New York, New Jersey area. He's a true New Yorker, New Jersey guy now. He lives there. He spends the summers there. He actually uses the word summers. He summers. I didn't know that was a verb. He used to be a Southern kid from New Orleans, and now he's a true New York, New Jersey guy. So my point is, he went all in and involved in all the great community projects and helping beat cancer research and giving back to the March of Dimes organizations, what he's done in Mississippi. He's not forgotten where he came from, went to college, what he's done down in New Orleans, the work going back he did to help Katrina victims. So I certainly was proud of him when he won that Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. It was well deserved, and I really agree with John Mara that Eli was a giant on the field and off the field. And I know Eli loved playing quarterback, but I think more than that, he loved playing quarterback for the New York Giants. And so to play just for one team the entire career, that's what every quarterback, I think, aspires to. For me, I got injured early, and the Colts were going to move on, and I had to go find a new place to play. But 16 years with the New York Giants, that's what Eli wanted to do. So he's starting and stopping with the team that he was supposed to be with, and it's been a heck of a run during that time. I really have enjoyed watching him play in person a lot more. I averaged about 3 games a season during the years that I was retired, and certainly got to keep up with his games more. And once again, wasn't talking to him every day during the week, but could ask him about the game plan and what are the Dolphins doing on defense. And but to go see him play and take my kids down to the locker room and have a chance to for them to see their uncle, that was a real thrill. So I'll miss that. I've been doing it for a long time. When I was in college, I'd go back and see Eli play 1 game a year in high school. When I was in the NFL, I'd go see him play 1 game a year in college. And just to see this growth and development each year, he was just a year older, a year stronger, a year more mature. So I've been seeing him play for a long time. So I will definitely miss that, but I'll have great memories of the journey. To me, it's the time to look back and reflect. Everybody else wants to look ahead and have this debate, and I understand that's just the world we live in, but I know Eli it doesn't think like that, and I don't think like that either, but I certainly have my strong feelings and opinions on it that when you're the Super Bowl MVP twice against the greatest dynasty of all time, the New England Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and you join a list that includes Terry Bradshaw, Bart Starr, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Eli Manning as the only Super Bowl MVPs. That kind of, I don't really know what that term drop the mic is, but I guess if there was one, if I had maybe, there really is no yeah but after that. That kind of ends it. But if you want a yeah but he also started 220 plus consecutive games. He's 6th or 7th all time in touchdowns. I mean, it wasn't like he just played those 2 seasons. I mean, he also just answered the bell, played his butt off, won some huge games for his team, and so I have strong opinions on it, but kind of I'm going to pull an Eli. I'm going to kind of live in the present right now and not and kind of look back a little bit, if you will, and not look too far ahead, not get too worried about it. Like I said, it's such an individual decision, and I can just tell he's at peace, and the role that he played this past year, kind of as a tutor, if you will, that will pay dividends. You talk about being a true giant. I mean, that will pay dividends for the Giants for many years to come, helping Daniel Jones. You can't get that kind of experience having a veteran quarterback that's won 2 Super Bowls in your ear every day. And I know I'll miss watching Eli play. Daniel Jones will miss having Eli there in his ear, but I know he'll always be there as a resource. So Eli will stay busy. His young family will keep him busy, but certainly a chance for he and I to do some things in the fall that maybe never had a chance to do, and certainly look forward to that. And I'm not worried about Eli in the least bit. It's funny, those games, he and I really did not enjoy those games because, look, nobody pulled harder for Eli than me. Nobody pulled harder for me than Eli. There's this, I mean, it was just this, always kind of having each other's backs and defending them. I will say about those 3 games that just, you can't really make it up, but for the national anthem before the game, he and I are on the exact same yard line, 50 yards across from each other. And I remember just kind of taking a moment going, now this is kind of cool. That's my little brother over there. We're about to play in front of 85,000 in New York or in Indianapolis, and we're lined up on the same yard line singing the national anthem. So that's a memory that I'll always have with me. I got to play in 4 Super Bowls. I got to be on the winning side of 2. And I think people don't really believe me or are surprised, but my greatest Super Bowl memory is watching my little brother take the New York Giants down the field in a 2-minute drill and beat the undefeated Patriots and all that came with that. And maybe I wasn't as happy as the 72 Dolphins, who I can promise you were celebrating, and they're on record saying that, but I was pretty close. I was just pride, and he was 5 years younger than me, and you kind of reflect on the times growing up. Cooper had gone off to college. It was just he and I. I used to drive Eli to school, and he literally would not say a word the whole time. And a couple times I missed the exit for his school, and he wouldn't tell me. I'm like, Eli, you knew that was your exit. Why didn't you tell me? And he was a quiet, calm and cool kid. And so you sort of have those memories when you watch something like that happen in front of you there in Arizona. It was kind of surreal. So that's my greatest Super Bowl memory, without a doubt, even more than the ones that I was able to participate in, because he did it. And there's that famous Bill Parcells quote after he tells their team, don't let anybody ever tell you that you couldn't do it, because you did it. And he did it, and he did it the right way for a long time.